he's got goals.
13. So
Against the clock, it really didn't matter.
I could have ever written a better story.
Defender Kentucky 3-day event and Kentucky International CSI 5-star. World-class sport in dressage, cross-country and show jumping. Watch live on clipmyhorse.tv.
Well, hello there, and a very warm welcome to you wherever you may be watching from around the world to this edition of the Clip My Horse TV in and out studio. Amy Parks here with you, and what a pleasure it is today to be with you with all eyes on Kentucky Horse Park in the US for the ultimate day, the final day in the Kentucky 3-day event. It is that huge 5-star that we look forward to every year, really kicking off eventing in style and really bringing the crowds in the US to this incredible triathlon for horse and rider. There is so much to come your way in the In and Out studio today. We're going to give you all of the analysis and all of the review of the cross-country stage ahead of the preview of the show jumping, of course. And I'm joined today in the studio by my wonderful colleague in the analyst chair. It's Rosie Russell. Rosie, welcome.
Thank you so much. It was such a thrilling cross-country day yesterday, so I'm really looking forward to previewing.
And Kentucky, what an absolutely iconic stage this has been for horse sport over the course of the weekend. It's just the second time it has hosted 3 separate events, a CCI 4-star in eventing, CCI 5-star eventing, and also a CSI 5-star, all on the same weekend. It's the only venue to have done that in sort of recent history outside of sort of world championships, Rosie. So it's huge. So much horse sport, huge crowds appreciating that horse sport, and really lovely to see. Let's take a little look then at our venue. What do we know about it? We want to give you 4 facts about that. Of course, this particular event started in 1978. It's had eventing running at Kentucky Horse Park since 1976. 4 days of competition, of course, in this 3-day event. So a little bit of a bit of a trick there. However, the horses compete only on 3 days. There's 2 days of dressage because we have so many dressage tests to get through. Then they compete on the cross-country day as well as the final day of show jumping. The prize money in this 3-day event totals around $400,000 US, so plenty to play for there. And of course, it's one of only 6 5-star eventing competitions globally. So around the world, just 6 of those big prizes to vie for, one of them in the US now. Kentucky stands alone, and this is the big one to grab. So a fantastic one to grab if you can grab it. And boy, oh boy, hasn't this competition been exciting. It really has. It's been a mix. We've seen so many people that are sort of vying for this title, and it really still to dig into that in a minute, Rosie. But let's take a bird's eye view of where we find ourselves today. Kentucky, zooming all the way in the United States of America. That's Kentucky Horse Park, but that arena there is the Rolex Stadium. It's had Major League show jumping, 5-star show jumping throughout the course of the week there so far. And today it is where all of our 5-star athletes will be show jumping. Our 4-star and 5-star athletes will be show jumping to see who will take the spoils in this incredible competition. This venue is very, very special, as we've said. There is someone who is also very special to us. She's dear to our hearts, and she's been enjoying it all week. It's Jenny Rudel, and she's taking a look at the venue in focus.
Welcome to the Kentucky Horse Park here in the heart of horse country. The Kentucky International 3-day event has been held here since 1976. It's where precision and skill meet and bravery and courage combine, but only one horse and rider combination can take home victory. The first phase is the dress arena here in Kentucky. It seats over 5,000 people, and just look at that turf. Most eventers are used to riding on grass. This is going to be a little bit of a shock for some of the horses, but it is truly spectacular. The Kentucky Horse Park terrain is perfect for eventing, with the undulating hills really testing the stamina of these horses, and the ground is perfect. We're here at the start box. This is where they'll come before they set out on course. The nerves will be high, but what a venue this is, and what a perfect setting for a day's cross country. Fence one here, a nice easy fence to start before they get into the thick of it and gallop across this glorious landscape. One of the feature fences here on course, just behind the huge Rolex arena, is fences 18 and 19. And this is one of the fences that the riders have been looking at, have been having a long, hard think about. You come in over a roll top into water, you've got to bend round to two angled brushes, 18B and then 19A. And then you have to come round again on a right-hand turn to a left-hand corner. There are so many questions here. You're testing your line, you're testing your braveness. You've got to jump in brave. It is one of the scariest fences on course. It's really going to put the riders to the test. The endurance test of the cross country, there is of course the show jumping. Back in the grand arena where every stride and every second plays out before thousands. The Kentucky Horse Park, this is a venue built for horses and for the people who love them.
Oh, Jen has really been putting in the miles this week at Kentucky, and we so appreciate it. She's been living every moment with these riders and these horses. As we said, so much coming out of this. Great stories all around, really cool narratives amongst the sport of eventing. And Jenny, rev us up. She's been giving us a feel of how things are going in Kentucky.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. So many amazing stories coming out of Kentucky from that cross country. One I really want to highlight is Emily Hamill. She was so emotional at the end of the course, the last 5-star for Corvette. And anyone who watched that, go back and watch it. That horse's jumping was just incredible. You know how emotional I get with these things. That horse is just so amazing, and the partnership that they have, and the way she just never put that horse in a box. She just let him jump in his own style and find his own path. It was just such a wonderful moment, and I was so grateful to be there at the end of the course to interview her. Another great moment I had with David Dole, where he said to me that it was a bit like a 4-star short hiding itself as a 5-star long. That's how quick and fast these questions came up for the riders. That's how quickly they had to think. They didn't have time to breathe out on course. It really was tough. And I think that showed with some of the riders getting those time faults, like Tim Price, Harry Mead. I think he would have liked to have been slightly closer to the optimum time. He did have a quite scary, hairy moment in the water. And he said to me, yeah, Jenny, pretty sure I was so close to the ground I saw some fish. But it was the save of the day. And in true Harry Mead style, he got back in the tack and galloped on. Of course, Will Coleman telling me that that horse is one of the best horses he's ever ridden, which is a truly amazing statement. But one of the stories I want to tell you about is Tim Price. What a rider, what a man. And he is suffering from quite a severe collarbone injury. He's actually, it was quite bad. He fell off a bike not that long ago. It's actually, he's in quite a lot of pain, but he's still managing to get around the course. He still rode 2 horses. He still came and spoke to the press. It's well known that Tim Price is one of the favourites in the eventing world, and you can see why. What a horseman. Obviously, Monica still in the lead, very emotional as well at the end of the course. Just, I don't know, I'd love it for her to pull off that win and jump clear, because I know how much it means to her. Having had those rails before in Maryland, having led before at a 5-star, she really put in an amazing round. And I know that horse can get quite nervous, and he really looks to his mum for for that leadership, and she really stepped up yesterday, and it was such an incredible round. Oh, so many stories coming out of the last 24 hours, but still so many stories to come. The jumping is just going to be so exciting.
Oh, super stuff, Jen. She's been an absolute trooper all week in Kentucky. So much going on. She was blazing around that. I don't know how many times she ran the cross country yesterday. I wonder if she was clear inside the time. She seems to have appeared and popped up pretty well there on the Sunday, but she really has been absorbing all. And this is the beautiful part of our sport. All the disciplines in our sport, so many incredible stories. They're lovely human stories, but they're lovely stories about these equine athletes because they all have their own personalities and dispositions, and you love them either way they come, don't you?
100%. And I don't know what's in the water in Kentucky, because yesterday we saw Dee so excited he was practically shaking.
Yeah.
Jenny there feels like she's just as excited.
I know, our colleagues at Equestrian don't know if we're getting Dermot Byrne back from the United States of America. That could be it. So very exciting stuff, and we've got it all coming your way on Clip My Horse TV, and of course USEF network. It's show jumping day. We have a 4-star short. Of course, they've swapped that slightly around this weekend for Kentucky. They've decided to run the show jumping at the end of that. Traditionally, the show jumping would go before the cross country in a 4-star short. That runs today instead. And in the 5-star, of course, traditionally, we have the show jumping as the last phase. That is the jumping test for the first group. That's at 2:20 p.m. if you are in the United States, and 8:20 p.m. in Europe. You're an hour before that in the UK if you are watching, and I bet they are. And of course the CCI 5-star along the jumping, the second group. So of course they break them down into 2 groups, sort of the top part and then the guys who are kind of coming along behind. 3:15 there, and yes, that time as well. The times, they're getting me every time. If I'm not reading it off on auto cue, I'm like Ron Burgundy. Rosie, I don't know what's happening. So make sure you tune in to Clip My Horse and the USEF network, because it is all there for you and plenty to see, and you can relive all of the action, of course, in the archive. So if you don't get to watch it live, you know, we don't want to spoil it for you, but it is all available, of course, on Clip My Horse TV, and you can enjoy it here. All of the analysis, the preview, the review in the In and Out studio as well, because we love to bring you as much of that as we can, as well as all of those incredible stories with horses and riders from this amazing event. We want to talk about eventing. We touched on it a little bit there, Rosie, obviously just with the 2 formats that are 4-star short, but the organisers have elected to swap that slightly around. So they have the cross country running yesterday alongside the 5-star, and they have the show jumping running on the final day. And in the 5-star, they have the show jumping traditionally running on the last day. Let's take a look at the disciplines then, at how eventing works. If you're new to the sport, what a great time to join in. This is so exciting. This is how it all works. Day 1 and day 2, we see the dressage. Now, of course, the horses don't have to do 2 dressage tests. Some of the riders do the dressage test twice on different horses, but we have 2 days allocated to dressage to get that all completed, because it does take a little bit longer. Day 3, of course, the action and adrenaline from the cross country, as we saw yesterday, and that all happens. And then on day 4, they trot before the vets and the judges again in the morning before coming back for the show jumping. So a real test of stamina, and as we've referred to it, Rosie, it really is a triathlon for horse and rider.
100%, it definitely is. And today is the day where it all concludes, and we're excited to see who will be taking home that title.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of titles, there's at the top of the tier when we're talking about this. We're going to talk about this. It is unique at Kentucky. We're seeing all of these incredible high-level events taking place. A 4-star running along this side, this 5-star, and Tamie Smith sits there in pole position as we go into the show jumping phase.
She is just the most incredible rider ever, and such a hero for US eventing. She's on 31.3 with Lillette. This is her superstar horse, the horse that's really stepping up and filling the boots of My Bomb, which they're very hard boots to fill because he was such an incredible campaigner for her. So this is so exciting as well, because she has her eyes very, very firmly set on the Olympics in LA. She's a California girl, so she'll be aiming to get back there. She has 6 horses at the 4-star level, so she's giving herself every single shot of being selected for them. Lillette is probably her strongest chance, and I think it also shows her as a rider, yes, so withdrawn Cayenne before competing. She then retired Dinito out on course. So she only had one horse, it was all resting on Lillette, and she was last to go cross country. So I feel like she's dealt with pressure a lot in her time. She dealt with it when she won the 5-star here because everybody was going clear. She was last to go in and show jump. And if everybody's going clear and then although you may think, oh, it's easy if everybody's jumping clear, I feel like the pressure builds a little bit more then. So she knows how to cope under pressure. She's gearing herself up for hopefully another win here today. And then her sights firmly set on LA.
Yeah, really strategic in terms of her approach, isn't it? We talk a lot about that with riders, putting these strings together with big championship goals in mind, and that certainly looks like what Tamie Smith is doing, and more power to her, absolute superstar, and this looks really exciting. We're going to dig in a little more to how things are going for her, but first of all, we want to have a look at how her cross-country unfolded with Lillette.
She is the fastest horse in this field. She is a winner at the 4-star level. Can they take home the win today?
She just did about probably 4 less steps to that first jump than anybody else. She came out flying, looks rideable, soft in the contact, up in the balance, and Tamie has got something to prove.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And just a reminder, clubhouse leader is Will Coleman, currently on a 35.8. As we look at Lillette 3 as they're out on course on a 29.7, we're going to keep an eye also on Mia Farley's time on Invictus.
And also, if Allie somehow gets inside the time, she could also take over the leaderboard. So we've got it all happening out here. Best weekend all year. We're nearing the end of this 4-star. Coming up to Sustainability Bay. She's inside the line. We've seen anybody else there.
She will know that this has caused a few problems, not a problem there.
This is such an athlete. You can see she's so neat and tidy. Very exciting as we see Tamie. Dead straight, galloping away. Tamie Smith, again, so well known as one of, in the last 10 years, one of the 5-star winners, one of only 2 U.S. riders to win since 2008. She came in as a very, very strong favorite. Came in with 3 horses. Now looking to have 1 jumping on Sunday with this lady right now. It is a big undertaking, her and her team out from the West Coast.
It's really so amazing. I mean, they literally just pack up their lives. They come here. They know it's important. They know why they do it. But it is it's a big deal for everyone.
Circus.
It is a traveling circus. And, you know, and also leaving behind the business. You know, part of the business comes with students are here and everything else. But, you know, it is a big commitment, and there's a reason she does it, and she's going to hopefully make it worth it right here.
Well, the challenge that has ended a lot of people's days, but not Tamie Smith, and she is spot on the time, ladies and gentlemen. Is she going to be able to do it? She is the only one so far that has been this close to the time, and it looks like she's not backing off any time soon.
Do you think she's going to get it?
Oh, I want her to.
Me too. We talk about it, you know, there's horses that will start very low on the first day, but then they will struggle on the second day, and then you hope that they cleave everything up on the third day. But as you say, this mare is incredibly well-rounded, and I think Tamie will be happily sat tomorrow as they head into the course, but she's got to get the rest of these jumps on their way home.
And we just have word in, unfortunately, that Tamie did have a frangible, so that will add 11 penalties to her score.
Oh my goodness.
But if she can be fast, it's still going to be a very powerful round. 5-minute marker here.
She's right. I mean, she's not a million miles away. This will still be a very incredible, competitive score, but not kind of the dream we thought it might be. They came in today with the highest % win chance on the AccuRatings Prediction Center.
She's a magic carpet. She's just so incredible. It's taken us a little time to get to know each other. I mean, of course it does. It takes a year, I think, but she's come out this year just like she's thinking for me and I'm thinking for her. She's so fast.
Wow, wow, wow. That, I mean, it looked so easy, didn't it? It looked really smooth, really classy all the way through there. Incredible horse, really exciting.
Really exciting. You know, she did pick up time penalties, but only 1.6 because nobody made the time. She was the fastest. And you could see from her lines how economical she was with her riding, saving every second, but without too many adjustments. And that really is what saves the seconds.
Yeah, the 1.6 time, as you said, around about 4 seconds, we're saying? Yeah, which is interesting because I had a call from the most excited man in America, which is Dermot Byrne from Equi-Ratings, who said to me, Amy, boy, have we got a story, boy, have we got a narrative coming out of this 4-star that will echo into the 5-star, and we can tie it all together really neatly. But this is a real story about Tamie because, of course, when we talk about the stats over the last 10 years in the 5-star, there's, apart from Mickey Young and apart from Oliver Townend, there's one name that really stands out, and that is this lady herself.
Yeah, she won back in 2023, I think it was, and she could end up being one of the first riders ever to win the 5-star and the 4-star. She could be making history here today, and being able to do a double like that, it's phenomenal. We've never seen anybody be able to do that. So she won the 5-star campaigner and is now here leading the way in the 3-star. And hopefully she can have another tick next to that 2020 for her. What a story for the US and also for the West Coast, because I think a lot of riders have truly been, maybe there's less events over there and they didn't quite feel that they could become top of the game if you were over on that side of the country. But Tamie has proven that is not the case. You can really go out and win everything. In Tamie's case.
Yeah, absolutely. In the US, we see a lot more too. But for the West Coast riders, this is a huge thing. And I think for particularly where Tamie finds herself in her career, as we know, in terms of her campaign as she heads into LA, this is really, really exciting stuff. And we'd love to see her write her names into the history books here.
100%. And she's an inspiration not just in eventing for all that she's done on the West Coast, all that she's done for America for getting that 5-star win in 2023, but she was also quite a young mum and has still gone on to produce a phenomenal career. Like, she is just a walking star. I love her.
Superwoman. We love her. We absolutely love her. So we are going to watch that all unfold. That will be happening as we breathe, walk and breathe, Rosie. We're very excited, but we have to turn our attention now to the 5-star. Of course, this is this huge competition. It's brought to us so many stories and a really interesting sort of playing field for us in eventing. We've seen incredible campaign stories of just time after time. You know, Ros Cantor and Lordship Scruffalo in the UK winning these big 5-stars there, Babington Burley, these sorts of stories. It's a very interesting playing field, as I said today, heading into the show jumping.
It is, because there's been so many people. Yesterday we were looking at almost 12 people that could go on and win. And even today in the show jumping, as to who's coming forwards, it's still so tight. You know, we haven't got a set leaderboard coming into the show jumping in the sense of it's not a clear, okay, X is going to win. So much jeopardy on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at how the cross country played out then yesterday. We said, you know, we could have had 12 possible winners yesterday as we went into that day of sport. This is kind of where we were. We had 17 clear jumping rounds, and the expectation, the prediction beforehand from Equi-Ratings was between 15 and 17 over this Derek de Gracia track.
Yeah, it all played out roughly as expected and as predicted. It is a little bit higher on the cross-country clears than your average 5-star, which is normally around 50%. But Derek is so clever with how he designs that time is a real test. We expected between 2 and 3. 4 made the time, and there was 4, as I say, 4 made the time, but 3 we probably did predict and expect, because David Dole, Galileo Newmod, absolutely flew around 15 seconds inside the time. Like, that is unreal. But the beauty of them is it never looks rushed. You never think, blimey, they are moving. It just looks so effortless. We had your Sophia Hill, Humble Glory, come out inside the time. Absolutely lovely.
Me old pal, me mate.
And then obviously Artist, who is currently leading with Monica Spencer, make the time. But there was also Will Coleman and Diabolo, who they were a little bit more of an unknown quantity because they haven't done a long format, I think, since 2023, quite a long time to have a break from a long format. We just didn't know what they were going to do in the last 3 minutes, whether they were going to be able to carry on the pace. Well, most certainly did, easily inside that time. And yeah, it was a pleasure to watch.
This opportunity to talk about David Dole as well, because an absolutely lovely team around this particular horse, and we've really followed their journey, and they're real campaigners. They're consistently, there's incredible numbers in terms of their record in terms of smashing the time at this level. It's absolutely unreal. This horse has got something else going for it. We did get to talk to the Speedy Speedersons of eventing. Jenny was down at the finish line and caught up with a few of those who went inside the time.
Undulations really did take him out of him this time. I had to work. But God, he was so generous and he was so trying, and God, did he make an effort for me. And you know, he loves his galloping, he loves his jumping, and yeah, you know, I can't fault him really. You know, he really did. He went pretty much all the direct routes. He's a pretty cool horse. He's so idle at home, and actually it's lovely to get out there on the cross country and actually have him making a little bit of an effort for me. So yeah, no, he was absolutely mega. You know, as I said, it wasn't sort of a foot perfect ride, but I was always told, you know, if it's a foot perfect ride, we're probably going too slow. So yeah, there's the same number of jumping efforts I think as there were last year, but there's 20 seconds shorter, and it definitely felt like that. You almost felt like you were doing a 4-star short round, a 5-star long. You know, you'd hardly had time to have a breather before the sort of the next fence, next combination were coming up.
Yeah, I had that little sticky moment in the water. I just probably needed to take my time on the turn a little more. I didn't give him the best jump in, but he never jumps the best in anyway. So yeah, that kind of created that moment, and then we got held, and yeah, I think, you know, he thought he was done, but he was very happy to go again. It was a little bit of a breather, and he got his energy and his wind back, and when the crowd cheered for him, kind of as I started off again, he just took, like, he had so much energy, he just took off. And yeah, I think the second part of the course rode much better for us. We kind of found our groove and our rhythm, and yeah, so thrilled with him.
Taking a hard look at our conditioning these last couple years, and we've done a lot of work trying to make sure that we have our horses as ready as we can. And Chris Navas at New Bolton Center has been a fantastic resource for us. And I think we did a great job profiling all our horses and really coming up with a plan that kind of stop and really look at them. And I think we've had aren't also beautiful types and athletes, but he's, I think, a different class. They jumped that massive triple bar, and then they kind of wing-ding around that turn. It's still early in the course, they're still a bit fresh, and it's a hard line to sort of settle them on, because you have to jump it sort of at an oblique angle to the ditch because of the terrain. And I think it's just a hard one for them to understand. You really have to, I think, sit strong, but also be careful not to drop their back legs on it and have that pin. So it's a very, very difficult jump.
Yeah, really cool to hear from those riders inside the time. And it wasn't easy, as you said earlier, Rosie, 4 inside the time of the 29 who started. But we had 17 clears, which is in terms of jumping clears, which is important to note. So Derek de Grazia always setting those questions, making it, you know, he's got such a reputation for these fantastic tracks, really asking the questions of the horses and the riders. And so it was lovely to see that we have 24 make it home, 17 going clear in the jumping, 4 inside the time. What is then the question of the day, the value of this clear, as we head into the analysis side of what we're expecting as we head down to that final phase, Rosie?
Well, we can see some of the clears on this graphic here, and there's a few I want to point out. We mentioned David Dole and Galileo Newman on how fast they were cross country. That was their 8th clear inside the time at the 5-star level, which is an absolutely phenomenal record to be going that quick on that volume of 5 stars, because to make the time once is a challenge, but they make it look effortless. I mean, David says that if he's having a nice time, he's going too slow. It looks like a nice time to watch. I'm enjoying watching it, but really great stuff from them. Tim Price and Vitali, okay, the time let them down a little bit with 9.2 time, but they've not actually made the time at any level together. So time penalties were kind of expected. The clears is what is so important for these two, because that was their 10th cross-country jumping clear at the 5-star level. Again, a phenomenal record. The most we have ever seen is 13 from Ballamore class. So they're definitely on track to probably overtake that at some point if they continue with this streak.
Yeah.
I know he thinks a lot of the horse, and it was incredible to watch again. Monica Spencer, an artist, that was important that they were clear inside the time. They lead by 5 marks now, and there's only 1 pole between 2nd place and 4th place. So show jumping becomes very, very important.
Show jumping is going to be an absolute showstopper today. That is for sure. We spoke about Monica at the time on that incredible dressage test, which we know was a PB for them at this 5-star level, and we did get the chance to catch up with Monica.
I'm delighted with the horse. Like I say, he to go back and do the alternative, but other than that, he was kind of straight as a die, and to him, didn't know he'd done anything wrong. So very delighted with him and how well he went round there. He's still with him, but no, Kentucky is, we were told it was great before we came, and it's definitely lived up to the expectations.
He jumped in to that second water a little bit steeper than I wanted him to, which meant unsteadying for them. I thought at one moment I was staring into the fish's eyes, but yeah, that's sort of what cross-country is about, is having to cope with moments like that. I then had to go long at the next water, which wasn't my initial intention, but yeah, it was the right thing to do, and the whole time you go out with a plan, but your main thing is you're trying to feel and react accordingly, and yeah, I was delighted with how he went, and most of all just pleased with how he finished, and had his ears pricked, and yeah, happy round.
I don't know, I enjoy all of the runs I've had on him, but this, in a weird way, was very peaceful. Like, I just had a good plan, and we've had so much experience together that I just felt confident, you know, and I still had to ride and adjust, and like, it wasn't beautiful the whole way around, although I'd say it was pretty good most of the time. Like, staying in the moment, and it was fun. I did hear some people cheering us on. I know you're supposed to be focused, but I did hear some cheers, which, you know, just helps keep you going. I really want his last one to be good, and like, he goes out on a bang, and so I felt like he gave me everything, and we really tried to make time. I was hoping I was going to make it. We weren't too far off of it, but I mean, he was incredible, and maybe if we didn't waste so much time in the air, we would have been a little closer. He's one I've just learned to kind of stay out of his way. Like, you know, obviously I have to have some influence over him, but it's like, I kind of just have to sit quiet, and when he does that head tossing, like, let me at it, I just try to stay quiet and guide him there without like forcing anything. He doesn't like to be told what to do. So if I just kind of make it his idea, like, hey buddy, let's go pick up that jump, he's like, okay.
Yes, a lot of pressure, and like you say, if someone gave me, you know, 20 minutes to go out there and ride around that course, I'd say, oh yeah, this is very jumpable. But doing it all, you know, with the time pressure and every combination out there, like, Derek does a great job of making it readable for the horses, but it's tough the whole way around, and it's very much accumulative, and you really felt the pressure the whole way around, and I was just trying to stay on those minutes. He's definitely looking where he's going, and even though he loves the crowd, he doesn't stop to look at them, which is nice. He definitely feels like he tries a little harder when everyone's cheering for him, though.
We, of course, are going to concentrate on our leader, and look at that, really far over to the left-hand side. She's thinking about every inch of distance.
He's very polite, and just all-round pleasure to have in every way. He doesn't have a lot of his own confidence, like, he wouldn't be one that ever has pulled me to a fence, but he's very much like, what next, mum, and very up for it. When he was coming up the levels, you know, I'm like, oh, he's a lovely 2-star horse, and then he was a lovely 3-star horse, and then before you know it, you're rocking around 5 stars, and he's just a horse that every year gets stronger and faster and jumps higher, so hopefully we can jump a little higher tomorrow.
Trot step off.
gets her eye on that brush. Smooth 5 to the next.
She's been very, very conscious of staying away from those flags. She's been plummeting.
It's very much just a privilege to be here and to be in that position yesterday and to be in this position today is a real privilege, and it's something that not many people get to experience. So I'm just going to try and enjoy the moment and be happy with my husband and my family, and enjoy it, and then worry about show jumping tomorrow afternoon.
Good Kiwi girl going, the overnight leader there heading into the show jumping phase, Monica Spencer. What a story for her and artist. They really are some combination, Rosie. We are going to turn our attention now to the jumping. Obviously, this is the final phase where we are going to see our winner crowned this afternoon. Let's give you 4 facts then about the show jumping phase in 3-day eventing. Of course, as I said, the last phase of the competition in this 5-star long style of competition. It's 1.30 metre maximum height for the show jumping here. You've got to remember, okay, sure, it's not a 160 Grand Prix like the show jumpers are doing in that particular discipline, but this is such a challenge for horse and rider after all they have done over the preceding days. 4 faults for each fence down then, that equates into penalties, and 0.4 time penalties for every second over the time allowed around that show jumping course in the Rolex Stadium today. So the show jumping, yes, it is taking place here on Clip My Horse TV and USCF Network. Plenty for you to watch. It will be an absolute thriller and nail biter indeed. 2:20 p.m. in the United States, 8:20 p.m. in Europe, and now before that in the UK. So make sure you are tuning in to catch every minute for this final day of competition by talking about previous winners, because as Equa Ratings, our colleagues there have said, 7 of the last 10 leaders after the cross country went on to win in Kentucky.
Yeah, so it bodes very well for Monica Spencer and artists who are out in front. It isn't the phase that is particularly their strongest phase. However, let's hope that they can keep the poles up, because they often have 2 down. They've got a 1 fence down cushion at the moment, 4 faults there. Well, they're on a 5 penalty lead. And have a great day at the office and maybe just have that 1 down, or even jump clear would be fantastic to take the win. As you say, 7 of the last have gone out to win, but there have been exceptions, because in 2024, Tom McEwen was in the lead, and actually it was Oliver Townend who took the win from 3rd place. And then again, also that happened in 2018 with Michael Young leading. Oliver Townend came again from 5th place. And then in 2015, Tim Price led, and then Michael Young won from 3rd. So we've got to be looking at our top 3 going into this, and the riders in 2nd and 3rd are very, very good jumpers. They're on strong jumpers. So it is all to play for in this final phase.
Yeah, the nerves might be getting jangly there for Monica Spencer. You know, sometimes we have a little bit of a question over the show jumping there, but this could be her big moment, because she's had so many close ones in the past. So could it be for her today? Let's take a look then at the breakdown of the show jumping, because in terms of the stats around
Yes, and as we can see here, so that would be about 4 or 6 horses expected to jump clear with the average of a 20% clear rate. We had outliers in 2023 and 2025. You can see that 42% in 2023, 2025, 30%. 2023 was when Tamie Smith won, and I mentioned that everybody was jumping clear, so that piles the pressure on if you're near the end of the class thinking, gosh, I really do have to jump clear if I want to cement myself at the top of this leaderboard. But I'd say Kentucky is one of the more forgiving 5-star show jumping days. Maybe it's a possibility because it's on a surface, and a lot of the other 5 stars aren't, they're on grass. So that could play into an element, and that could show that a few of these horses that we may have question marks over in that final phase, they could come out on springs today because they might like a surface.
Yeah, it depends on their personal taste, of course. Knowing that, we should probably take a look at this, because we talked a little bit about Monica and who's strong in that show jumping phase, because it does make a difference. All horses have their strengths and weaknesses. The aim, of course, of eventing is to make them experts in all 3 disciplines, so they are ultimate winners. But in terms of the strong show jumpers in this field, there are a few standouts.
Oh, there most definitely are. And I think that there's maybe a few that we haven't spoken about, like Prod McCarthy's Pomp and Circumstance. Out the front there is one of the best show jumpers in the field. And they actually have 12 consecutive clears at the top level of the sport, which is a phenomenal record. And what a feeling to be sat on a horse like that going into the final day of a big 5-star, knowing that you've got a horse that's naturally a good jumper. That would be a great, great feeling. And also on there, Will Coleman, Diabolo, they're in second place coming into the show jumping. They will be putting the pressure on Monica Spencer because they are good jumpers. They haven't done a long format, as we've mentioned, since 2023. So it does pose the question of how they're going to jump on the last day, because typically in short formats, they jump on the second phase. So normally on day 3 or day 2. So that's a different element to it. Can they keep the poles up? They are known for being good jumpers, and that could play a part on how much of a buffer Monica has. So it'll be interesting to see how they jump, but they are predicted to be good. And the other one on there, Commando, Boyd Martin, another one for the US. This pair jumped clear in both and ended up on the podium as a result. So definitely keep their way onto the podium.
Yeah, and he's flying, well, he does ride for America, has for a long time. He is the US favourite son-in-law, but he is Australian, so I will claim him. And he certainly has an Australian sense of humour, don't their honourable mention, and I know I spoke about her yesterday, I'm going to say exactly the same thing, is Sophia Hill and Humble Glory. This horse, they've got an incredible record at show jumping as well, with 16, I think, of their they've been had a fence down in the show jumping phase since 2022 is the stat that I am absolutely dining out on, and I have been all week. I love this story. And Dee from Equestrian said, once again, he knew I would. So there you go. It is a really, really great story. We want to talk about someone. Now, this is a man who's very transparent about the fact that his horse isn't always the strongest on the show jumping day. He would have hoped to have had a better time around that cross country yesterday and it's Tim Price and Vitali, but he has been an amazing icon of our sport. He's a character of this sport and always so generous with his time. He is our rider in focus today.
It's very hard to win these big events because there's so many good riders for a start. Hi, I'm Tim Price, 5-star eventer, allegedly. We're here at the glorious Kentucky Horse Park. I have 2 horses here, Vitali and Global Quest, who are very different to each other. Vitali, he's like an old pair of shoes. You know, we've been around Badminton and Burley, I think back to back, maybe 4 years now. And he's just the ultimate 5-star horse. Haven't managed to win one yet. We've come close. I think we were second through all the placings. And I think he's been top 7 in his last 6 efforts or something like this. So it's a pretty good effort, but we have not won one yet. So that's something I want to do before his career starts to settle down a little bit. I think he's amazing. His show jumping's been a little bit of his nemesis, but he has got a good jump in him. I think he's got it in him. It's just about me finding the right strings to pull and having him in a way that he can give me his all in the show jumping. He's a great guy. I love him to bits. He's a little black horse, very, very slight, real athlete. The way he travels cross country is second to none. Doesn't know another way except through the flags. And I'm really privileged to ride him for his owner, Joe Jenamore. Global Quest, he's a horse I picked up off the late Georgie Campbell a couple of years ago, and he's also a very good horse, but completely cut from a different cloth. He's big, chunky, not as dynamic in his mind, and you know, I'd almost call him a little bit agricultural, but he's got a great heart and he wants to do the job. He's a fantastic cross-country horse. He's a bit of a grumpy old man around the stables, but he's learning to enjoy himself a bit more, and you know, it does essentially something that you've had since 3 or 4 years old, let's say. It takes that time for you to learn about each other and start to really behave as a partnership, as a unified force, and I feel like we're just getting to that point, you know, this season. I would love to get another 5-star under the belt. To me, you know, dare I say time's running out, but I'm not going on the sport as much as I love it. I think it would be fun to sort of go out in a glittering way. I've been second here, I've been in the top 5 many times. So this is one that's eluded me, as has Badminton. Maybe it's the start of the year, it's a little bit like me in the mornings. I take a little bit of time to wake up. Always better at the back end of the year, so this has been my big goal this year, is to start the year well and come home with a great result and to me, that means winning.
Yes, Tim, but that I just picked up on something there, Rosie. Was he hinting at the fact that next time he wins a 5-star, he's going to, pack up his boots and go and sit on the porch for the rest of his remaining?
Well, I'm a massive Tim Price fan.
Yeah.
So as much as I'd love to see him win a 5-star, if that's the case, I hope he doesn't win a 5-star, because I love watching eventing with Tim involved. I don't want to see Tim not eventing. So, I know.
We've accidentally hexed him. Sorry, Tim Price. Sorry to my fun owl there from New Zealand. We never want you to win a 5-star again, because it means you're going to retire. So you better take that back immediately. We want to talk about what's going to happen now as we get down these sort of leaders a little bit more in depth. And I know you've done that, Rosie, about how good this sort of top echelon of, as we head into that final phase of the show jumping, really are.
Yeah, it's a really pivotal point at this competition, because in that top 5, we do have some really... Monica Spencer and Artist are absolutely amazing in the first 2 phases. This last phase is maybe where they're a little bit weaker. They have 1 pole in hand. They've got 5 penalties above Will Coleman and Diabolo. 1 pole down is, of course, 4 penalties. So she has that little buffer. She normally has 2 fences down. So this is where it could be a bit of a moment for her. However, she did only have 1 pole down in Burley in 2024. So she can do it. They can do that. They can produce a 4-fault round. But it all depends on Diabolo and Will Coleman, because I'm clear. If they have 1 pole down, that just gives Monica that cushion of which they can then have their expected 2 down. So it's a lots of ifs and buts, and let's see what this person does as a result to see how much of a buffer the next one has. So that's the thing with this part of the event. You've got to be tuned in for every second, because 1 pole down from Will Coleman could really influence Monica Spencer, and it's a bit of a toss and a turn to see who's going to end up in that winning spot. We have our top 5 here, and we can see how good they are on that final day, and as a result, we've got lots of good jumpers in that top 5. After Diabolo, HSH Blake and Caroline Pamuchku. Such a long-time partnership, but still do here today. David Dole and Galileo Newmod, they are very, very good jumpers, exceptional jumpers. Tim Price and Vitali, this is obviously their weaker phase, so we'll wait and see, but it's something Tim is continuing to work on throughout. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it unravels.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute thriller. I know we've said that, and I know we keep talking about that, but it really is. I think what we need to do then is probably have a look at our win chances at this point, because, I mean, post-cross country, it really all happened out there. I know we were watching it on bated breath. Things were happening. We were staying up to see what things were happening. And then these win chances kind of slightly adjusted as we have a look there. This is the all-important page, I think, Rosie.
It is. This is what it comes down to. So Monica Spencer, Artist, out in front with that 46% win chance. Now, if it all comes off for her today, it's the first 5-star win for Monica and Artist. What a win it would be. She moved out to the US from New Zealand to really try and put all she could into getting to Paris and putting herself on the big stage. She's done exactly that. She's here on this big stage leading this competition. She could become a new 5-star winner, and actually the first 5-star winner that we've seen in Kentucky from New Zealand since 2013, and that was Andrew Nicholson. So it would really mean a lot for Team New Zealand as well. So I really hope that it comes off for her, but even if it doesn't, and it's a Will Coleman and Diabolo win, for the US, absolutely huge, because obviously they haven't had a win since Tamie Smith in 2023, so that would be a big one. First 5-star win as well for Will Coleman, which is a surprise, because a man who's won so much in his career, but he's yet to get a 5-star. Can he do it today? And to win your first 5-star on a 5-star debutant, because Diabolo's never competed at this level before, it would be wild. And the story continues for them as well. It's never ending, because they would be, again, we've seen Tamie Smith in the 4-star. She could go and win the 5-star and the 4-star. Could Will Coleman go and win the 5-star and the 4-star as well? He'd be the second person to do it if Tamie does it earlier on in the day, because they won the 4-star, the pair of them did, back in, I think that was 2023. So It'd be incredible if they could come out and then win the 5-star here. There's just so many stories to unfold for the top 5. And yeah, it all comes down to this.
It certainly does. And you know who loves those stories, Rosie? It is Steve Byrne. The word is he's been searching all over Kentucky Horse Park for more adrenaline to fuel himself because he peaked yesterday during the cross country. He is with Jenny Riddle. Let's catch up with the pair of them.
So, yeah, Amy, I have got the most excited man. You were so excited yesterday before the cross country. Has it delivered to your excitement levels? Have you kept that energy going before this show jumping today?
Yeah, I have. It's been a huge day. You know, there's so many potential stories unfolding. So, like, there's so much jeopardy. Of different winners. As we watched a cross-country day yesterday in Kentucky, there was this excitement building around every single moment. Was it a flag? Are they making the time? What are those time penalties? Now it's all about, can we get a US winner? You know what? Tamie Smith is going to win the 4-star with Lillette 3. By the way, a US 28, a Californian, a West Coast rider. She's aiming for that. Lillette 3 wins the 4-star. She's now at a 90% win chance to deliver. Tamie Smith won the 5-star, Jenny, in 2023. So you're about to have the first ever 5-star winner hits the 4-star winner. Will Coleman and Diabolo, really well placed in the 5-star, one of the best jumpers in the field, sitting behind Monica Spencer, an artist who I think may have a rail, may have a second. You're about to see a potential Kentucky jigsaw complete, which is the 4-star winner wins the 5-star, the 5-star winner wins the 4-star, the East Coast meets the West Coast, male and female. It is all about to collide on an afternoon in Kentucky. It's absolutely magic how the sport has delivered us the stories to be able to bring it all to completion. Kentucky is about to be completed if we can get Will Coleman to win the 5-star here, Jenny.
He did say to me in his interview at the end of the course that this horse is so exciting. He thinks he's never sat on something so quality. And just to know that going in there is going to give him that confidence.
But a big question to answer is he's never jumped a 5-star show jump, and like he has the experience. Will has jumped everywhere. He's been to Worlds. He's been everywhere.
He's so cool and calm as well.
He's cool and calm. And by the way, he is in terms of from a UK audience point of view, very like Harry Mead in that everything is very deliberate.
Yeah.
So this will be planned. This will be controlled. He's been in this stadium before. He's won in this stadium before in terms of the 4-star. 5-star a little bit different. There is a very expectant crowd building behind us. Artist Monica Spencer, they've never won a 5-star. They were very, very close in Maryland. They have a rail in hand. So it's going to come down to the very last, round here. It's going to come down to, I would suggest, probably halfway through the very last round because they have to have a second rail. So the excitement is going to run all the way through to the end. What the Americans, Caroline Pamuchku and HSH Blake,
She's got such a cool, calm head on her shoulders as well. Like, she is so in it to win it.
Oh, so well able. Yeah. Boyd Martin and Commando, the exact same, and Will Coleman and Diabolo, the exact. They're all lining up right behind Monica. If a mistake happens, they're in place to do it. There is a crowd building behind us that is all about the US win. The double-double is on. The Kiwis will want to disrupt it. Galileo Neamwood and the Brits, Tom McCune as well, so David Dole, Tom McCune, they're right here. It is the tightest 5-star that we've seen in years. It is on. I said it to you yesterday morning. It is so on. It is still so on. Potentially unfolded. Keep an eye on Diabolo. Tamie Smith, keep an eye on the Lillette 3. We have a double-double. East Coast meets West Coast, male, female, 4 meets 5, 5 meets 4. It's about to complete the Kentucky jigsaw. There's a couple of bits to unfold, but back to the sport to be able to make sure it happens.
Yeah, thank you, Deb. I think you need to go and get ready. I think you should be in your seat straight and early because let's hope that they can have the fairy tale they wish for here in the USA.
It's on. Double-double. That's right, Dee. His glasses were fogging up. He was so excited. The guys are saying there. You could see the fog sort of gathering behind him. See, I told you he was the most excited man in America. Jenny at one point thought she might need to escort him around the ground. Thank you so much to Jenny and, of course, to Dee there. Brilliant stuff. It is so exciting. It really, really is. Great for the sport in the US, great for the sport as a whole. Really cool story coming out of there. And as you can see, our Echo Ratings analyst there, Endemit Byrne, so thrilled with what's about to unfold in the United States. Amazing stories. Amazing stories here on Clip My Horse as well. There'll be plenty of sport coming your way, of course, but you can check out much more than that. We have training available in our Academy section and so many documentaries for you to enjoy. One of those is sort of like a feature film. It's called Hoof Dreams, and it follows 3 female athletes as they blaze a trail towards the Tokyo Olympics. Take a sneak peek now.
It's so difficult to be so good at 3 different disciplines that you just have to have such an incredible partnership with them.
You have to have an all-round horse that is really good at everything. It needs to have the suppleness and the athletic ability and the poise to be a horse on the cross country that has got the heart of a lion that will just take on any jump. And then you need a horse that can come back and is physically okay to jump on the 3rd day and to be careful and cautious and leave all the rails up.
So it's still very, very possible, but I didn't get to kind of like go home saying, yeah, I got it, I'm definitely going. So I have to wait another month to know whether or not I'll be going.
If I fail, my chances of ever being on a team again with that horse are like pretty much 0.
I'm not sure if people can catch up to me yet on the leaderboard, but I want to make sure that they can't, and I really want to go.
They say world champion you are for 4 years, but Olympic champion you stay forever.
Yeah, super stuff, and an Olympic Games is so special, and we've talked a lot about that over the course of the show today. Of course, this show jumping coming up today. This is what we've been talking about. This is where all the excitement is. You can catch Clip My Horse TV, 2:20 p.m. That's in the United States, 8:20 p.m. in Europe, an hour before that in the UK. Rosie, I know you'll be watching. Who's your pick to take this home?
It's so hard because if I kind of go down the stats and predictability route, you'd be saying Will Coleman, but my heart says Monica Spencer. I really would love it to come through for her this weekend because of how much she's devoted to the sport. So yeah, I'm going to say Monica.
Wonderful. And look, it could be Sophia Hill because she is my girl from the hometown. However, I will be claiming Monica Spencer as an honorary Australian, as we always do whenever a Kiwi does any good at anything. So absolutely good luck to all of our competitors out there. Rosie, thank you so much for being with us this week. It's been an absolute pleasure. We will see you next time.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been great.
Super stuff. And we have got so much more coming up for you in the Clip My Horse In and Out studio. It will all be coming for you in the coming weeks. It's back to show jumping next weekend. Of course, it is the final showdown from Major League. It is that all-important finals taking place in Monterrey in Mexico. And we will be with you all weekend to bring you all of the analysis ahead of the fantastic sport coming out of Major League show jumping. Be sure and join us then. Until then, I want you to take care, and thank you to everyone for joining us and to everyone who has contributed to our shows this weekend. It's been a pleasure. Take care for now. Take care. Bye.
Passion, peak performance, goosebump moments. Experience equestrian sports live and on demand, anytime, anywhere. Horses, sport, entertainment. Clip My Horse TV.
He's up and over, he's got goals! 13. So
He gets against the clock, it really didn't matter. Mickey, defender Kentucky.
No scriptwriter could have ever written a better story.